belt I'd wear in jiu-jitsu. It's very tethered, but it's under Team Nova União. It's the Jose Aldo's school.
Oh yeah.
I got pictures of BJ Penn. I've trained in Toronto. BJ Penn, Fabiano Wagner, who used to be in the WEC. Leonardo Santos, who Clay Guida actually just beat. I've trained with him too. Leo, one of the nicest guys ever. One of the nicest guys ever. I hate to see that guy lose. He's coming off 2 losses in a row, but yeah, purple belt jiu-jitsu since 2019. 2019, I got promoted to purple belt.
So you got what about a belt test this year coming up, 22?
So I have a real interesting situation because my jiu-jitsu team was based out of Nova União, Canada. When I was living in, because I moved down here from New York in September, and I was training in Canada, just crossing the border. Because in upstate New York, there isn't shit. There's not shit to train. The's no jiu-jitsu.
Go down the street and be like, "Hey, you want to fight with me?" No.
I'm from a little town called Plattsburgh, New York, and the only instructor for a couple of years before I forget who the hell is his coach. Robert Hughes opened a school there. He's a black belt. But I was the only instructor in the town. I was teaching out of a club team for Plattsburgh State University. It's a New York college. And I was coaching using like school funds to take us on tournaments and shit. And in my personal training time, I would drive up to Quebec, about 30 minutes south of Montreal, an hour commute every day, one way. So 2 hours round trip to just train for 2 hours. That was my life. I'd go to college. I'd train my students. I'd train myself, and then I'd party on the weekends. And that was my college life. That was pretty much it. But went off on a little tangent.
You got that 1.0 GPA up. Sounds like you passed more than physical education, baby. Good for you.
I did. I ended up going to college. I graduated with an associate's in fitness management and also kinesiology studies, and I have a minor in business management as well. So I flipped this. Moving to New York was a blessing in disguise.
Yeah. Got your shit together. Yeah. How much does your mom hate you fighting? Is she cool with it?
Man, Eric, I have a clip of my mom. So my last K1 fight in South Carolina, they had a live stream on Facebook for the event. It was an IKF tournament. And right off the go, my mom's sitting there like, I touch gloves with the guy, and my mom's recording the live stream on her phone, right? Just to have it. And I rocked this guy probably 30 seconds in with a big jab cross. I threw the cross, I pulled back, and he's looking off into space. And the ref stopped me, gave him the standing 8 count. My mom's just going ballistic. She's like screaming, "Fuck him up!" Like she is out of this world, Eric. But like she hates watching me get. She's like, anytime you get hit, I just want to fucking climb in the cage and grab the motherfucker. She's like, but when you're slamming them, she starts getting crazy. My mom's Spanish. She's from Panama, so that'll give you a little insight. She's very.
She's a little Roberto Duran. She's a baby Duran. She likes to win.
Actually, she's her family was personal friends with Roberto Duran. They went to all of his fights. They were good family friends with Roberto Duran.
I love Roberto Duran.
My mom could tell you all these fights of him. She was like, the hands of stone. That was the motherfucker. She's like, Duran would pick me up. We go to they would take her brother to his boxing gym and shit in Panama. They were good friends with him growing up because of her dad, my grandfather. But I unfortunately never got to meet the guy. It'd be awesome. But my grandma says she has a robe that he wore walking out to the ring. My grandma says she's got one of those, and I want to try to get a hold of that. My grandma's in Miami, so I'm gonna see if I can get that piece of history right there.
Oh, that is a great piece. Remember, Jimmy right now is jealous. He's
one of the goats. One of the goats, baby. Wow.
I really liked his fighting style, man. That you don't see a lot of guys doing that shit anymore, where they're just pulling the hands down and then just cracking them with the other. Like really interesting, and I feel like that set a big trend in boxing with a lot of the glove play, but he was ahead of his time, I think.
the infighting with him was it was like he didn't even have gloves on. It was like a surgeon, man. I mean, he would touch you here. You know, he'd see you just start to go, and he'd touch you and stop you, then pull this down, throw the hook, followed by an elbow. I mean, just Emil Griffith was like that too. Study Emil Griffith, but unbelievable infighting.
Yeah, and that stuff is something to watch too. And I kind of like to fight like that too, because I like to get in close, clinch up, and do stuff like that. So I'll always be like looking to come forward, lock heads, almost pull gloves down, uppercuts, hooks, and shit like that. And I like watching Roberto in that aspect, because like you said, it's surgical is a great word, because man, just pulling one hand down,